Ursula accidentally stumbles upon her son naked and discovers a shocking secret.
¿Y esa cara?
Vi algo peor. Tiene un miembro descomunal.
Her best friend, Pilar Ternera, reassures her that it is completely normal. Arcadio is just going through puberty.
Parece una malformación. Es peor que una cola de cerdo.
But Ursula can't shake her worry. Her family is cursed due to generations of inbreeding, and she fears her son might be affected. Pilar, a tarot reader, calms her down and offers to read Arcadio's future. Ursula brings Arcadio to Pilar's house. As Arcadio picks a card, Pilar furtively slides her hand under the table. Arcadio feels uneasy, and the room falls silent. When Ursula asks about her son's future, Pilar casually says, "He'll never lack wives or children." Ursula thinks the matter is settled, but that night, something strange happens. Arcadio lies in bed, unable to sleep. He steps outside for some air, but his legs seem to move on their own, leading him straight to Pilar's house. She is already waiting for him. That night, Arcadio transitions from boyhood to manhood. From then on, Arcadio becomes obsessed, sneaking out every night. His younger brother, Aureliano, notices his strange behavior and confronts him. "Why do you keep leaving without me?" Arcadio finally confesses the truth.
Es como un temblor de tierra.
Their secret affair continues for a year. During this time, Ursula gives birth to another son, and the family seems to be thriving. But one day, Pilar drops a bombshell on Arcadio. "Congratulations, you're going to be a father." Arcadio is stunned. He is still a kid himself. How can he be a father? Overwhelmed, he steps outside to clear his head. Nearby, a traveling merchant caravan is gathered around a roaring bonfire. There, Arcadio meets a beautiful gypsy girl, and under the spell of the moonlit night, something inexplicable draws them together. By the next morning, Arcadio still hasn't returned, leaving his family in a growing panic. Ursula searches for him with Aureliano. After spending a night with the gypsy girl, Arcadio disappeared. His mother asks all the neighbors, but they all say they haven't seen her son. Just when Ursula is on the verge of despair, a neighbor mentions seeing Arcadio with the gypsy girl, but by the time Ursula reaches the merchant camp, they have already left. Desperate, she ventures into the forest alone, leaving Aureliano behind. After a week of searching, there is no trace of Arcadio, and Ursula herself vanishes without a word. The once lively household suddenly plunges into a deathly silence. Moreover, some eerie things often happen.
Papá, la canasta.
Aureliano suddenly discovers in astonishment that his mother, who has been missing for 3 years, has actually returned. Though Ursula has never found Arcadio, she brings back a group of skilled immigrants from another tribe. The town begins to prosper, but one night, Pilar shows up at Ursula's door with a baby.
¿Y esa criatura?
Es un varoncito.
Ursula realizes Pilar is connected to Arcadio's disappearance. Overwhelmed with mixed emotions, she takes in the child, but makes one demand. The boy must never know who his real mother is. Pilar agrees, as she can barely feed herself, let alone care for a child. Unbeknownst to them, Aureliano overhears everything. From that day on, he becomes withdrawn and immerses himself in his experiments. 5 years pass, and Aureliano grows into a young man. Aureliano is endowed with a remarkable ability. He can sense things that will happen in the future.
¿Alguien va a venir?
Sure enough, as the door opens, a very strange little girl named Rebecca appears. From a letter, they learn that the girl is a distant relative of their family. However, what's eerie is that since Rebecca arrived at their home, she hasn't uttered a word. She always sits on a chair, rocking back and forth, and always clutches a big sack. Little do they know that it's precisely the arrival of this girl that will bring a huge disaster to the entire village. And this girl is exactly the child born to Ursula's missing eldest son, Arcadio, and that gypsy girl. Late at night, when everything is quiet, the youngest daughter, Amaranta, suddenly hears strange sounds coming from the yard. So she slowly walks to the yard with an oil lamp in her hand. To her surprise, she actually finds Rebecca, lying on the ground, gobbling up mud hungrily. This incident sends shivers down the whole family's spines. They quickly call a witch, who feeds Rebecca a mysterious potion. However, what no one expects is that at this moment, Rebecca actually opens her mouth and says, in order to make Rebecca drink the potion, Ursula has to say that she will untie her if she takes a sip. Helplessly, Rebecca has to agree to Ursula's words. Unexpectedly, as soon as the magic potion is drunk, Rebecca instantly burps. Then, in the following days, Rebecca's mouth becomes as sweet as if smeared with honey. She instantly makes the whole family very happy. However, when night comes, Rebecca sits on the stool again and rocks back and forth. People think Rebecca is sleepwalking, but the next second, they discover an extremely terrifying scene.
Rebecca?
The village witch is so frightened that she quickly performs a ritual, which only then makes Rebecca return to normal. But what's strange is that the next day, as soon as Rebecca touches the syrup, she immediately makes some delicious candies. Soon, the candies she developed are snapped up by the villagers. Little do they know that a nightmare is about to begin. After eating the candies made by Rebecca, the whole village can no longer sleep. Everyone is working all night long. Every household has its lights on, and there is no sign of sleepiness at all. Even in the wee hours of the morning, the entire town is brightly lit, and people seem to have endless energy. Soon, a week passes. Due to working day and night, the town's economy quickly gets a big boost. But then, terrible things start to happen. Because Jose Arcadio suddenly discovers that although the villagers no longer need to waste time sleeping, their memory begins to fade slowly. He even forgets the names of the villagers. Before Jose Arcadio can figure out what's going on, a scream comes from behind. Unexpectedly, a couple who have lived together for decades actually become strangers to each other. In the wife's eyes, her husband has directly become a thug who breaks into the house. The whole town falls into chaos. Everyone seems to have gone crazy, fighting and brawling like wild beasts. Just when the town is on the verge of destruction, an old man, Melquiades, suddenly appears. Melquiades only feeds the villagers a sip of a mysterious potion, and everyone in the whole village instantly falls to the ground and falls asleep. However, what's strange is that the villagers sleep for a full 10 years. It turns out that not long ago, everyone in the whole village got a strange disease. They all lost their sleepiness and didn't sleep for a week. Fortunately, Melquiades appeared in time, and the town residents finally lie on the ground and snore loudly. As 10 years pass, Jose Arcadio has become a greasy, middle-aged man, and Aureliano has grown into an adult. Rebecca, who used to eat soil, has also become very pretty. Fortunately, Amaranta is quite good-looking, with a pair of charming big eyes. Only the eldest grandson, also named Arcadio, has inherited his father's appearance, but his huge buttocks have become a stumbling block for him to find a partner. Nevertheless, the whole family lives very happily and takes the first family photo in their lives. However, when the photo is developed, Jose Arcadio becomes extremely interested in the camera. Jose Arcadio believes that the camera can capture God, so he spends a large sum of money to buy the camera brought by Melquiades, and then shoots crazily at the surroundings day and night. However, unfortunately, in the end, he still can't capture the image of God. Just when he is extremely frustrated, the sound of singing comes from the living room. It turns out that a week later, it will be the 30th anniversary dance of Macondo Town. Ursula specially invites a dance teacher to teach Amaranta to dance, and also moves a piano into the house. Little does she expect that since Jose Arcadio saw the piano for the first time, he has had a bold idea. That night, Ursula is suddenly awakened by the noisy sound outside, so she walks forward along the sound. Little does she expect that Jose Arcadio has actually taken the piano apart. Ursula is instantly furious because tomorrow night is the day of the dance. Angrily, she demands that Jose Arcadio fix the piano or she won't let him off. Soon, the next day comes. Everyone in the town, dressed in gorgeous clothes, comes to Jose Arcadio's house. Ursula and Jose Arcadio are closely related and got married. To escape the restrictions of the secular world, they and some like-minded friends wandered around and finally settled in Macondo. Now they live a life of plenty, which is inseparable from the hard work of the town residents. However, just when the atmosphere reaches its climax and they are about to play music, the piano suddenly makes no sound. Just when the scene reaches a freezing point, the piano miraculously rings again. However, just when everyone is immersed in the joy of the 30th anniversary, the maid of the family suddenly delivers a letter from the Colombian government asking Jose Arcadio to paint all the town buildings blue. This instantly makes Jose Arcadio furious. So early the next morning, Jose Arcadio takes the villagers to find the newly appointed sheriff. Unexpectedly, the sheriff is not at all flustered when he sees Jose Arcadio, because he also has an official document issued by his superiors. However, Jose Arcadio doesn't care about this. On the first day of the sheriff's tenure, He drives him out of the town and threatens that if he comes back, the consequences will be even more serious. Hearing this, the sheriff seems to realize the seriousness of the matter and has to turn around and leave in disgrace. However, the crisis of the town has just begun. This is the first 3 episodes of the 2024 Netflix magic-themed drama, 100 Years of Solitude. The drama is adapted from the 1967 novel of the same name by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Currently, it has been updated to 8 episodes. If you want to watch the subsequent episodes, type 1 in the comments. If there are many people, we will continue to make more. Like and subscribe to the channel without hesitation if you enjoy the video. See you next time.